Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. is directed by Mark Malloy and stars Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and among others. And this story is the fourth film in the Beverly Hills Cop franchise where Axel returns to Beverly Hills after some stuff goes down with his daughter, who's a lawyer, and also looking for Billy Rosewood, Judge Reinhold's character from the other films, who goes missing. Now here's a little backstory. Now, I gotta be honest, I actually didn't actually get a chance to fully watch the original Beverly Hills Cop films until a couple years ago. From the last couple of years, because when I was a kid, I saw bits and pieces of them, like the first three, when I saw them on TV at times, just clips here and there. But I never got to watch them in their entirety because growing up, when Eddie Murphy was really big in the 80s, he definitely had his breakout role with Beverly Hills Cop, which really got him on the map with doing his raunchy comedy and his really funny improvised dialogue and everything, and improvised humor and everything. And so, but I kind of got the late start when it came to Eddie Murphy's films, because my introduction, surprising enough, when I was a kid was actually The Nutty Professor. So I got the middle to late 90s Eddie Murphy. But I did get to see some R-rated movies, at least, that he watched that when I was a kid, like Life and maybe a couple others. But I never really got a chance to really check out much of Eddie Murphy's early stuff until years later. And finally being able to rewatch the first three films in their entirety. To this day, the first film, I think, still holds up as a really great buddy cop action film with, Murphy at his best, being able to, work his way with using his improvised type of humor that he's known for, and also being able to have his quick wit and everything is what you would call an iconic type of character like that. And I really do like the second one a lot, even though it gets really a bad rap compared to the first one. It's not as good as the first one, but I do like how it adds more action with stuff, and from the great Tony Scott and everything, may he rest in peace. And it's definitely an underrated sequel. The third film, I mean, what can I say? The movie definitely deserves it to be pretty much as one of those movies that's really forgotten about for me, and I'm really not a big fan of it at all. And it really showed in that one, too, that Eddie probably didn't want to do it, because the movie shows that he's really sleepwalking in that one, where he doesn't have the energy. And there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that was going on between him and director John Landis in that film, where he was wanting to do some things. Landis wanted to have him improvise some stuff, and at that point, Eddie wanted to basically make it to where he felt like Axel was wanting to become an adult and everything, and it really felt like the tone was really bad with that one, and it wasn't that funny at all. Other than a couple parts that I did laugh at here and there with, but that one was definitely a big letdown. And so for 30 years, we pretty much went on a hiatus with this franchise, and never did I really think that they would ever do another one, because it also seemed like after that period that Eddie was wanting to do into more family-friendly type of territory after a while with doing The Nutty Professor, and then eventually doing a lot of kids' movies that he was doing for a while. And then it wasn't until when he came back in 2019 with Dolomite Is My Name that he started to go back to his roots, doing hard arc type of comedies again. Or not hard arc, but that very raunchy type of comedies again, like he used to do, where he's cussing like a storm and everything. And so going into this one, this was actually a project they were talking about for years, trying to get Eddie on board with, but for a long time he just didn't want to do it, because there wasn't always a script in mind that they really had his approval for, because he would always turn them down every time. And so going into this one, from the trailers and everything, it got me really interested, because I really loved the first two, and if it was at least going to be better than the third one, that's what really got me, hopefully for the better. And seeing the cast return, especially Taggart and Billy Rosewood coming back and everything, was also really good. Got my interest, and just the movie from the trailers already got the vibe of definitely a legacy sequel that showed, much like with the Bad Boys franchise, that it could really be going into different surprises. And upon seeing the film, I gotta say that I had a good time with this film. It was definitely, much like with the last couple of Bad Boys films, this one definitely feels like it knows its audience. It tries to go and really respect the character. It knows the audience of what it's going for as far as the action, comedy, and Eddie Murphy really top of his game like he's been in years, and being able to really have that, having a lot of fun with the role again. And it seems like he's never left the role of Axel at all in this one. It's back in full force. And so to get my pros out of the way, what can I say? Eddie Murphy really makes this movie work as he always does. He's so iconic in the role, and it's great to see him, you know, having a lot of fun, smiling throughout like he was way more, 10 times, like 100 times more than what he was in the third film, especially, where he's using his wit and trying to, work his way into certain places and stuff with the humor, though it plays out this character like he's known for. And the chemistry, I thought, with him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt was fun, but also his returning, the returning other cast members, like with Taggart and Taggart and Rosewood coming back too, was also fun. While they may not be as on screen as much they were in the other films, it is still great seeing John Ashton coming back, and also Judge Reinhold coming back as well in their iconic roles, and also some other familiar faces too that were in the other series, like Paul Reiser and Bronson Pinchot and all them. I'm sorry if I got his name right. But you can definitely tell the nostalgia is definitely there with everyone coming back. And everyone in this was just such a blast to watch. And then on top of that, I really got to appreciate some of the other new additions they have in here, especially with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. I thought playing as the younger cop that's going with Axel on his assignment and everything. The shootouts were a lot of fun, and I appreciate that they were going into like that more type of practical type of vibe with shooting action scenes, unlike we see with a lot of CGI and stuff. So I'm glad that movies like this, and also the current Bad Boy movies, still go back to form to doing stuff like that. You know, the humor, the way it plays out with Axel getting into all kinds of different situations, is just such a blast to watch. And while the plot might not be something special, because it kind of gets into my cons a little later with, it still really does go into force of the fact that basically you have Axel, you know, trying to do things like he's being still a street cop and everything. And I'm kind of really hit and miss when it comes to the relationship he has with his daughter character that's in the film, that's played by Taylor Page. I'll get to her later. But I still think that there are some sweet moments that do work to its advantage of what it tries to be with him being a father and everything. Then on top of that, you know, I really dug the soundtrack with the movie as well, hearing the classic tunes from some of the other films. And the Beverly Hills setting was always fun, and you know, it's just an all-around, it's just very entertaining. Now, if I do have to get into some of my cons, I will have to say that the plot itself is really nothing special. It is your typical, you know, him going after bad guys like in the other films, and the bad guys in this aren't really anything really to write home about. And it does feel a bit quite predictable at times, you know, because I kind of already know where it was going, especially, and it also felt like, you know, the movie was just trying to get more into the stuff that was involved with Axel and his camaraderie with everyone that he goes around and everything. And then on top of that, I did also feel like some of the humor can be hit and miss, and maybe not every joke lands. And there's also some stuff that involves with his daughter that comes into play in this. And while I do like the actress, Taylor Page, I thought she did a good job. And there are some moments that she does do good with her and Murphy at times. I did feel that it can be funny. It does feel like some of the stuff that gets involved with her and Axel feels like it's taking it takes the focus away from what we want to see out of the movie. The relationship that it goes on with her and her ex-boyfriend, that's in her past relationship that's involved with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I thought could have really been established more, because we don't really get enough of it. And it seems like they really could have done something a lot better to really flesh out some stuff that it was involved with Axel's daughter. And it seems like it would have been better suited in a different type of movie. But with that being said, though, I still had a good time with the movie, and despite those cons that really hold the movie back from being great, I still had a good time with it. And with that, I'm going to give the movie a low compelling grade on the Film Freaks meter. So, for those of you who have also seen Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, and also the other films in the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next review. I'll see you later.